First Contact and Defiance. Commander Elena Santos stood at the viewport of Orbital Defense Station Artemis, watching the sunrise over Earth's curved horizon. 20 years of service in the Global Defense Force hadn't prepared her for this moment. The quantum sensors, disguised as ordinary weather monitoring equipment, had detected something approaching from beyond Mars' orbit. Commander, Lieutenant Park's voice carried across the command center, steady despite the tension. Multiple objects detected. Mass and velocity signatures indicate artificial propulsion. Elena's fingers traced the neural interface at her temple, a piece of technology reverse-engineered from artifacts found beneath the Martian ice caps 30 years ago. The neural link connected her directly to Artemis's defense systems, though to any outside observer, the station appeared to be nothing more than a civilian research platform. "Show me," she commanded. The holographic display materialized, showing 12 vessels in a classic invasion formation. Their design was elegant but predatory, sleek crystalline structures that seemed to absorb starlight rather than reflect it. The largest ship, positioned at the center of the formation, was massive enough to cast a shadow on Mars as it passed. Elena had trained for this scenario countless times, but the reality of humanity's first contact with an alien civilization made her pause for just a moment before activating the global alert system. In the underwater city of New Singapore, Admiral Chen Wei received the alert while overseeing the final tests of humanity's latest quantum torpedoes. The city, hidden beneath the South China Sea, was one of Earth's many secrets, a manufacturing and research facility that had been preparing for this day for decades. "It seems our guests have arrived ahead of schedule," he remarked to Dr. Sarah Cohen, head of weapons development. "Are the phase shift generators ready?" Sarah nodded, her augmented eyes displaying real-time data from the torpedo tests. "Better than ready. The simulations show they can bypass any known form of energy shielding. Though I doubt our visitors know we've been studying their technology since we found that crashed scout ship in Antarctica." Above the planet, the alien fleet took up position, and a transmission burst across all frequencies. The message auto-translated through systems humanity had developed by studying alien linguistics for years. "Attention, primitive world. This is High Commander Zixtal of the Varaxian Empire. Your world has been chosen to join our glorious civilization. Prepare for immediate integration and submission to imperial authority. Resistance will result in..." The transmission cut off abruptly as Elena activated Earth's first surprise. Quantum interference fields, developed specifically to disrupt alien communication systems, enveloped the planet in an invisible barrier. "I believe," Elena transmitted back, using the same frequency, "you might want to reconsider your choice of words, High Commander." The alien fleet's formation shifted slightly, their sensors no doubt detecting the sudden change in Earth's electromagnetic signature. Before they could respond, humanity revealed its first hand. The ocean's surface broke as massive platforms rose from the depths, defensive installations that had been hidden underwater for years. The moon's surface shifted as hidden hangar doors opened, revealing squadrons of ships that matched or exceeded the aliens in size and capability. In orbit, Artemis Station shed its civilian disguise, quantum-shifted plates revealing its true nature as a fortress of otherworldly technology. Similar transformations occurred at points all around the planet as Earth's defensive grid activated. High Commander Zixtal's next transmission carried a note of confusion. "Impossible. Your civilization's energy signatures indicated pre-spaceflight technology levels. How did you conceal our true capabilities?" Elena finished for him. "High Commander, humanity has been preparing for this moment for generations. Every alien invasion story we've told, every defense we've imagined, we built them all. While you saw a primitive world, we were studying you, learning from the pieces of your civilization we found scattered across our solar system." Admiral Chen's voice joined the transmission. "You should scan the dark side of Mars, High Commander. You'll find our shipyards there interesting. We've been busy." The alien fleet's sensors turned toward Mars, and Elena could almost imagine their shock as they detected the massive construction facilities humanity had hidden there. Facilities that were now powering up, revealing ships and weapons that represented humanity's determination to never be conquered. "This is impossible," Zixtal transmitted. "No species has ever hidden their true capabilities from the Empire." Elena replied, "Perhaps that's because no species spent centuries imagining every possible way aliens might try to conquer them. We've had a lot of practice preparing for this day, High Commander. The only question is, will this be a peaceful first contact between equals, or did the Empire just make its first serious mistake?" The alien fleet's weapon systems powered down slowly, a clear sign of reconsideration. Elena smiled as she watched their formation shift from offensive to defensive positioning. Humanity had survived its first test, but she knew this was just the beginning. In New Singapore, Admiral Chen turned to Dr. Cohen. "Signal the outer system bases. If the Empire decides to return with reinforcements, I want the Jupiter and Saturn defense grids ready." Sarah's augmented eyes flickered as she processed the order. "The antimatter mines are already in position throughout the asteroid belt, though I doubt they'll need them." The look on their faces when they realized we'd reversed engineered their own technology and improved it, priceless. Elena kept her attention on the alien fleet as they began a slow retreat. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, turning science fiction into science fact, paranoia into preparation. The Empire had expected to find easy prey. Instead, they found a civilization that had dedicated itself to ensuring that Earth would never fall. As the alien ships disappeared into faster-than-light travel, Elena activated the global communication network. "All stations, maintain alert status. Something tells me our friends will be back, and next time, they'll bring more ships." "Let them come," Admiral Chen responded. "We've got a few more surprises waiting. After all, we've had a long time to think about this." The sun completed its rise over Earth's horizon, illuminating a planet that had just announced its presence to the galaxy, not as a primitive world ripe for conquest, but as a force to be reckoned with. Humanity's age of isolation was over, and the galaxy would never be the same. The hidden arsenal. Deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, in a facility known only as the Forge, General Marcus Rivera watched holographic projections of the retreating Viraxian fleet. The vast underground complex hummed with activity as quantum computers processed data from humanity's first alien encounter. "They'll be back," he stated to the assembled War Council. "And they'll bring enough firepower to glass a planet." Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of Project Oracle, stepped forward. Her cybernetic enhancements glowed softly as she interfaced with the facility's AI systems. "According to our predictive models, we have approximately 72 hours before they return. The Empire's protocol is always the same: shock and awe with overwhelming force." "Good thing we've been expecting them for the past 50 years, Marcus replied, his weathered face reflecting the holographic displays. "Dr. Tanaka, show them what we found in the Amazon vault." The holographic display shifted, revealing images of an ancient alien structure discovered buried deep in the rainforest. 20 years ago, we found this, Yuki explained. A database containing technical specifications of every weapon in the Empire's arsenal. They'd forgotten about it, a relic from their first expansion period 10,000 years ago. In orbit, Commander Elena Santos received the briefing through her neural link while overseeing the deployment of Earth's defensive grid. The quantum-shifted platforms, invisible to conventional sensors, created an interlocking network around the planet. "The Empire thinks technology is linear," Elena commented. "They never considered that finding their abandoned outposts would let us leap forward centuries in development. And they certainly never imagined we improve on their designs." Admiral Chen's hologram appeared in the Forge's command center. "The lunar shipyards are at full production. We're deploying the Phantom fleet to the asteroid belt. If they want to play hide and seek, let's show them who's been practicing longer." The Phantom fleet was humanity's masterpiece, ships that could phase between dimensions, making them virtually undetectable and immune to conventional weapons. It was technology the Empire had theorized but never successfully developed. Humanity, with its centuries of imagining impossible things, had found a way. In New Singapore, Dr. Sarah Cohen supervised the loading of quantum torpedoes onto submarine carriers. Each torpedo contained technology that shouldn't exist by the Empire's understanding of physics. "They think they know the rules of warfare," she muttered. "They've never fought an enemy who spent centuries writing stories about beating impossible odds." The quantum sensors detected new activity at the edge of the solar system. The Empire was marshaling its forces faster than expected. Through the neural network, Alina shared the data with Earth's Defense Command. 500 ships, Lieutenant Park reported, including 3 planet killers. General Rivera's response was calm. "Right on schedule. Dr. Tanaka, activate the Oracle protocol." Throughout the solar system, hidden installations powered up. Quantum AI systems, developed by merging human innovation with recovered alien tech, began running combat simulations at speeds that made the Empire's battle computers look primitive. "You know what's truly ironic?" Yuki said, her cybernetic eyes processing streams of data. Every science fiction story humans wrote about resisting alien invasions, they weren't just stories. They were rehearsals. While they were conquering worlds, we were imagining every possible way to fight back. And then we built it all. In the Kuiper Belt, automated factories that had been hidden for decades activated, producing weapons and defenses that incorporated both recovered alien technology and human ingenuity. The Empire had never encountered a species that turned paranoia into preparation on this scale. "They're launching probes," Alina reported. "Standard Imperial reconnaissance pattern." "Let them look," Marcus ordered. "Show them exactly what we want them to see." The probes encountered a carefully crafted illusion. Defensive systems that seemed impressive but ultimately beatable. The real defenses, shifted slightly out of phase with normal spacetime, remained invisible. Dr. Cohen's voice came through the neural net. "Quantum torpedo crews report ready. The Empire's about to learn why humans spent so much time writing stories about underdogs winning." In the Forge, General Rivera studied the tactical displays. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, turning fiction into reality, imagination into weaponry. The Empire thought they were dealing with a primitive species that had gotten lucky with some recovered technology. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "All commands, execute Operation Storyteller," he ordered. Throughout the solar system, humanity's true capabilities began to emerge. The Phantom Fleet shifted into attack positions, weapons that defied Imperial physics powered up, and defense systems activated that represented humanity's greatest achievement, the ability to turn imagination into reality. "Signal from the Empire," Lieutenant Park announced. "They're demanding our immediate surrender." Alina's response was transmitted across all frequencies. "Perhaps you should check your history, High Commander. Humanity has been imagining this fight for centuries. We've lost it 1,000 times in our stories, and learned how to win it in every possible way." The Empire's massive fleet approached, their weapons charging. But in the Forge, General Rivera smiled. They had no idea they were about to face an enemy that had spent generations preparing for this exact moment. "All units," he commanded, "show them why we named our defense platforms after ancient gods of war." Humanity's hidden arsenal was about to be revealed, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Empire was about to learn why you should never underestimate a species that had spent centuries imagining how to fight impossible battles, and then built everything they imagined. Empire's Gambit. High Commander Zixtal stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion, watching as his fleet of 500 ships approached Earth. His mandibles clicked in irritation as the sensor readings continued to confound his tactical officers. "Impossible," his science officer declared, analyzing the data streams. "Their technology. It's as if they took our designs and evolved them in ways we never considered. But the Empire hadn't survived for 10 millennia by being cautious. Begin the standard subjugation pattern, Zixtal ordered. Deploy the planet killers. On Earth, in the quantum-shielded chamber of the Forge, Dr. Yuki Tanaka's cybernetic systems processed the Empire's battle formations instantly. They're following exactly the pattern we extracted from their tactical database. Overhead strike formation, designed to overwhelm planetary defenses through sheer force. General Rivera's hologram appeared beside her, transmitted from the Lunar Command Center. Time to show them why humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our imagination. Throughout the solar system, humanity's carefully laid plans began to unfold. The asteroid belt, seemingly dormant, came alive as thousands of microsatellites activated. Each one contained a quantum field generator, technology the Empire had deemed theoretically impossible. Commander Elena Santos, now coordinating Earth's orbital defense from Artemis Station, initiated the first counter-move. Operation Labyrinth. Commence. The quantum field generators activated simultaneously, creating a complex web of intersecting fields throughout the space between Mars and Earth. To the Empire's sensors, it appeared as though space itself was being twisted and folded. What trickery is this? Zixtal demanded as his fleet's formation began to fragment, ships suddenly finding themselves hundreds of thousands of kilometers from their intended positions. Admiral Chen's voice came through the secure quantum network. They still think in 3 dimensions. Let's show them what humanity's understanding of physics can really do. The Phantom Fleet emerged from its dimensional shift, appearing behind and between the Imperial vessels. These ships, designed using principles the Empire had never imagined, represented humanity's greatest technological achievement. The ability to move through dimensions as easily as conventional ships moved through space. Dr. Sarah Cohen's voice crackled through the neural net from New Singapore. Quantum torpedoes armed. Remember, we're not just fighting with technology. We're fighting with every strategy humanity ever imagined in our stories. The Imperial fleet's first volley of energy weapons passed harmlessly through holographic projections of Earth's defense platforms. The real platforms, phase-shifted just slightly out of normal space-time, remained untouched and ready. Interesting strategy, Zixtal commented, his confidence beginning to waver. But the Empire has never lost a. His words cut off as humanity revealed its next surprise. The quantum field suddenly shifted, creating corridors of altered spacetime that human ships could navigate but Imperial sensors couldn't penetrate. You see, High Commander, Elena transmitted, while you were conquering worlds, we were imagining every possible way to defend ourselves. Every science fiction story, every war game, every theoretical scenario. We built defenses for them all. In the Forge, Dr. Tanaka's cybernetic systems calculated the Empire's increasing confusion. Their tactical computers can't process our defense patterns. They've never encountered an enemy who turned abstract theoretical physics into practical weapons. The Empire's planet killers moved into position, their world-ending weapons charging. But humanity had prepared for this too. From beneath the lunar surface, massive ring-shaped devices emerge, quantum singularity generators that could redirect the enormous energies of planet-killer weapons. Did you really think, General Rivera transmitted to the Imperial fleet, that we wouldn't have defenses against your most powerful weapons? We've been studying you for decades, learning your weaknesses, preparing for this moment. The first planet killer fired, its energy beam capable of cracking a planet's crust. But as the beam approached Earth, the quantum singularity generators activated. The devastating energy was caught in a complex web of artificial gravity wells, redirected and dispersed harmlessly into space. Zixtal's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation. How? How did you prepare so thoroughly for weapons you'd never seen? Because, High Commander, Elena replied, humans have been imagining ways to survive planetary destruction for centuries. We didn't just write stories about it. We solved the problems, built the solutions, prepared for everything we could imagine. And humans, as you're learning, can imagine quite a lot. The Phantom Fleet began its attack runs, using movement patterns that the Empire's tactical computers couldn't predict. Each human ship operated in ways that defied Imperial understanding of physics and space warfare. In New Singapore, Dr. Cohen initiated the quantum torpedo strikes. The weapons, incorporating principles of physics the Empire had never mastered, phased through Imperial shields as if they didn't exist. You relied on your technology remaining superior, Dr. Tanaka transmitted to the Imperial fleet. You never considered that finding fragments of your civilization would let us leap forward centuries in development. And you certainly never imagined we'd improve on your designs in ways you thought impossible. The Empire's mighty fleet, faced with defenses they couldn't comprehend and weapons that ignored their most powerful shields, began to fall into disarray. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, and every surprise, every impossible technology, every unthinkable strategy had been carefully planned and executed. As his ships began taking devastating hits from weapons that shouldn't exist, High Commander Zixtal realized a terrible truth. They weren't fighting a primitive species that had gotten lucky with recovered technology. They were fighting an enemy that had spent centuries imagining every possible way to defeat them. And then built it all, turning the tide. The void between Earth and Mars had become a graveyard of Imperial certainty. High Commander Zixtal watched as another of his mighty warships succumbed to weapons that his civilization had deemed impossible. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were systematically dismantling everything the Empire believed about warfare. Multiple quantum fluctuations detected. His sensor officer called out, panic evident in his multi-tone voice. They're opening dimensional corridors throughout the fleet. In the forge, Dr. Yuki Tanaka's cybernetic systems processed the battle data with cold efficiency. The Empire's trying to adapt their shields to our quantum torpedoes. They still don't understand. We're not just using technology. We're rewriting the rules of physics they've taken for granted for 10,000 years. Commander Elena Santos directed the Phantom Fleet through the quantum corridors, executing maneuvers that the Empire's tactical computers couldn't even process. Each human ship moved through multiple dimensions simultaneously, appearing and disappearing like ghosts in the void. You know what their biggest mistake was, Elena transmitted to her fleet. They thought science fiction was just stories. They never realized we were using our imagination to solve problems they hadn't even encountered yet. The Empire's planet killers attempted another coordinated strike, their world-ending beams lancing out toward Earth. But humanity's quantum singularity generators caught the energy, redirecting it through carefully calculated dimensional rifts. The devastating power meant to destroy Earth instead emerged behind the Imperial fleet, forcing them to evade their own weaponry. Impossible. Zixtal rage. No civilization could have prepared so thoroughly for weapons they'd never encountered. General Rivera's voice came through the quantum network, calm and assured. That's where you're wrong, High Commander. We've been preparing for this moment since we first looked up at the stars and wondered what might come from them. Every story, every movie, every game about alien invasion. They weren't entertainment. They were preparation. In New Singapore, Dr. Sarah Cohen activated humanity's next surprise. Throughout the asteroid belt, seemingly dormant rocks began to move, revealing themselves as camouflaged weapon platforms. Time to show them why we named this one Project Medusa, she transmitted. The platforms activated, creating a web of intersecting quantum fields that began to crystallize space itself. Imperial ships caught in the effect found their atomic structures being slowly transformed, their advanced materials becoming brittle and useless. What sorcery is this? Zixtal demanded, watching as portions of his fleet became essentially fossilized in space. Not sorcery, High Commander, Dr. Tanaka replied. Just the application of physics you never bothered to explore. While you were building bigger weapons, we were finding ways to turn the fabric of space-time itself into a weapon. Admiral Chen's voice carried across the quantum network. All units, execute Operation Lazarus. Throughout the solar system, humanity's final defensive line revealed itself. The gas giants Jupiter and Saturn rippled as massive structures emerged from within their atmospheres, facilities that had been hidden there for decades, protected from detection by the planet's natural interference. "You see, High Commander," Elena explained as the structures powered up, "while you were scanning our planet for threats, we were building in places you never thought to look. We turned entire planets into our fortresses." The Jupiter and Saturn facilities activated, creating a massive quantum field that encompassed the entire inner solar system. Within this field, the laws of physics themselves could be locally altered, giving human ships an advantage that no amount of imperial technology could overcome. "This is beyond possible," Zixtal muttered, watching as his mighty fleet was systematically trapped and neutralized by forces he couldn't comprehend. No species could have developed such technology in secret. "That's because you don't understand humanity's greatest weapon," General Rivera transmitted. "It's not our technology. It's not our determination. It's our ability to imagine the impossible, and then find ways to make it real." Turning the tide. The void between Earth and Mars had become a graveyard of imperial certainty. High Commander Zixtal watched as another of his mighty warships succumbed to weapons that his civilization had deemed impossible. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were systematically dismantling everything the Empire believed about warfare. Multiple quantum fluctuations detected, his sensor officer called out, panic evident in his multi-tone voice. They're opening dimensional corridors throughout the fleet. In the forge, Dr. Yuki Tanaka's cybernetic systems processed the battle data with cold efficiency. "The Empire's trying to adapt their shields to our quantum torpedoes. They still don't understand. We're not just using technology. We're rewriting the rules of physics they've taken for granted for 10,000 years." Commander Elena Santos directed the Phantom Fleet through the quantum corridors, executing maneuvers that the Empire's tactical computers couldn't even process. Each human ship moved through multiple dimensions simultaneously, appearing and disappearing like ghosts in the void. "You know what their biggest mistake was?" Elena transmitted to her fleet. "They thought science fiction was just stories. They never realized we were using our imagination to solve problems they hadn't even encountered yet." The Empire's planet killers attempted another coordinated strike, their world-ending beams lancing out toward Earth. But humanity's quantum singularity generators caught the energy, redirecting it through carefully calculated dimensional rifts. The devastating power meant to destroy Earth instead emerged behind the Imperial fleet, forcing them to evade their own weaponry. "Impossible," Zixtal raged. No civilization could have prepared so thoroughly for weapons they'd never encountered. General Rivera's voice came through the quantum network, calm and assured. "That's where you're wrong, High Commander. We've been preparing for this moment since we first looked up at the stars and wondered what might come from them. Every story, every movie, every game about alien invasion. They weren't entertainment. They were preparation." In New Singapore, Dr. Sarah Cohen activated humanity's next surprise. Throughout the asteroid belt, seemingly dormant rocks began to move, revealing themselves as camouflaged weapon platforms. "Time to show them why we named this one Project Medusa," she transmitted. The platforms activated, creating a web of intersecting quantum fields that began to crystallize space itself. Imperial ships caught in the effect found their atomic structures being slowly transformed, their advanced materials becoming brittle and useless. "What sorcery is this?" Zixtal demanded, watching as portions of his fleet became essentially fossilized in space. "Not sorcery, High Commander," Dr. Tanaka replied. "Just the application of physics you never bothered to explore. While you were building bigger weapons, we were finding ways to turn the fabric of space-time itself into a weapon." Admiral Chen's voice carried across the quantum network. "All units, execute Operation Lazarus." Throughout the solar system, humanity's final defensive line revealed itself. The gas giants Jupiter and Saturn rippled as massive structures emerged from within their atmospheres, facilities that had been hidden there for decades, protected from detection by the planet's natural interference. "You see, High Commander," Elena explained as the structures powered up. "While you were scanning our planet for threats, we were building in places you never thought to look. We turned entire planets into our fortresses." The Jupiter and Saturn facilities activated, creating a massive quantum field that encompassed the entire inner solar system. Within this field, the laws of physics themselves could be locally altered, giving human ships an advantage that no amount of Imperial technology could overcome. "This is beyond possible," Zixtal muttered, watching as his mighty fleet was systematically trapped and neutralized by forces he couldn't comprehend. "No species could have developed such technology in secret." "That's because you don't understand humanity's greatest weapon," General Rivera transmitted. "It's not our technology. It's not our determination. It's our ability to imagine the impossible, and then find ways to make it real." The Phantom Fleet executed its final attack pattern, moving through dimensions in ways that made them virtually invulnerable to Imperial weapons. Each strike was precisely calculated, disabling rather than destroying the Imperial ships. Dr. Cohen's voice came through the neural net. "Quantum field integrity at maximum. Their weapons are effectively useless now." In the forge, Dr. Tanaka's cybernetic systems calculated the brutal mathematics of the Empire's defeat. "They've lost 60% of their fleet's functional capacity. The rest are trapped within our quantum fields, unable to escape or fight effectively." High Commander Zixtal stood on his bridge, watching as humanity's true capabilities were finally revealed in full. His mighty fleet, the pride of the Empire, had been reduced to near helplessness, not by superior numbers or overwhelming firepower, but by technology that worked in ways his civilization had never imagined possible. "Perhaps," Elena transmitted, her voice carrying a note of finality. "It's time to discuss terms, High Commander. Not as conqueror and subject, but as equals. After all, we've just demonstrated that humanity's place in the galaxy won't be decided by your Empire's assumptions about us. The battle for Earth was ending, but its implications would echo throughout the galaxy. Humanity had done more than just defeat an Imperial fleet. They had demonstrated that imagination, properly applied, could overcome even the most advanced civilization's certainties about what was possible. Perhaps," Elena transmitted, her voice carrying a note of finality. "It's time to discuss terms, High Commander. Not as conqueror and subject, but as equals. After all, we've just demonstrated that humanity's place in the galaxy won't be decided by your Empire's assumptions about us. The battle for Earth was ending, but its implications would echo throughout the galaxy. Humanity had done more than just defeat an Imperial fleet. They had demonstrated that imagination, properly applied, could overcome even the most advanced civilization's certainties about what was possible." A new dawn. The Imperial flagship Eternal Dominion hung motionless in space, surrounded by the wreckage of certainty and pride. High Commander Zixtal stood before a holographic projection of Earth's united leadership, his posture rigid but defeated. The Empire's mighty fleet lay scattered across the solar system, most ships disabled or trapped in quantum fields that defied Imperial physics. "In 10,000 years," Zixtal began, his translator struggling to convey his mix of humiliation and awe, "no species has ever, no one has ever, turned your own assumptions about reality against you." Commander Elena Santos finished for him, her hologram steady in the Imperial bridge. "Perhaps that's because no one else spent centuries preparing for every possible way you might attack." In the forge, General Rivera watched the transmission alongside Dr. Yuki Tanaka. Her cybernetic systems were still processing the battle data, calculating the full implications of humanity's victory. "They never understood what they were really facing," she observed. "They thought they were fighting our technology. They were actually fighting the combined imagination of our entire species." The quantum network hummed with activity as humanity began the process of securing their solar system. The Phantom Fleet took up defensive positions, their dimensional shifting capabilities now openly displayed as a reminder of Earth's technological achievements. "Your civilization," Zixtal addressed the assembled human leadership, has accomplished something unprecedented. You didn't just defeat our fleet, you rendered our most advanced technology obsolete. Admiral Chen's hologram flickered into view. We had good teachers, he replied with a hint of irony. Your abandoned outposts, your forgotten databases, your discarded technology, we found them all. But more importantly, we improved upon them in ways your empire never considered possible. Dr. Sarah Cohen, speaking from New Singapore, added, "You see, High Commander, while your empire was spreading across the galaxy, humanity was doing something unique. We were imagining every possible way we might encounter alien life, and then we built defenses for all of them." The holographic displays showed the full extent of humanity's preparations. The Jupiter and Saturn facilities, now fully revealed, demonstrated level of engineering that the Empire had never achieved. The quantum field networks throughout the solar system represented physics that Imperial scientists had deemed impossible. Your Empire, General Rivera stated, made a fundamental mistake. You judged our civilization's advancement by what you could detect from space. You never considered that we might have deliberately hidden our true capabilities. Zixtal's mandibles clicked in reluctant acknowledgement. The Empire must know. How long? How long have you been preparing for this? Elena's response was simple but profound. Since we first looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. Every story we told about alien invasions, every movie we made about defending Earth, every game we played about interstellar war, they weren't just entertainment. They were rehearsals. In orbit around Earth, the quantum fields shifted, revealing more of humanity's hidden infrastructure. Space stations that had remained phase-shifted for decades became visible, showing the true extent of Earth's defensive capabilities. We're transmitting our terms now, Dr. Tanaka announced. They're quite simple. Earth and its solar system are recognized as sovereign territory. Any future interactions will be conducted as equals, not as empire and subject. And if the empire refuses? Zixtal asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. Then we'll demonstrate more of what human imagination can achieve, Elena replied. What you've seen today represents only a fraction of our capabilities. We've spent generations preparing for this moment, High Commander. How much more do you think we've hidden? The implications weren't lost on the Imperial commander. His civilization had encountered thousands of species, but none had ever prepared so thoroughly for first contact. None had ever taken the Empire's own technology and evolved it in ways that rendered Imperial weapons useless. The Empire will need time, Zixtal said carefully, to adjust to this new reality. Of course, General Rivera responded. Change is never easy, but perhaps this can be the beginning of something new. A relationship between equals rather than conqueror and conquered. As the Imperial fleet prepared to depart, their ships escorted by the Phantom Fleet to the solar system's edge, humanity's leaders gathered in the Forge to discuss the future. They'll be back, Dr. Cohen predicted. Not to fight, to learn. We've shown them possibilities they never imagined. And we'll be ready, Elena agreed. We always have been. But maybe next time, we can show them something better than our weapons. We can show them why humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our defenses. It's our ability to imagine a better future, Dr. Tanaka finished, and then make it real. As Earth's sun set on humanity's first major galactic conflict, the planet's defense grid remained vigilant but with a new purpose. The Empire had come expecting to find another primitive world to conquer. Instead, they found a civilization that had turned imagination into innovation, paranoia into preparation, and science fiction into science fact. The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity, standing proud among the stars, was ready to shape whatever came next, not as conquerors, not as subjects, but as equals who had earned their place through ingenuity, foresight, and the power of human imagination. The age of Earth's isolation was over. The age of human innovation had begun.